created a lot of chances. They finished more than they have in a while, and got the result.
Yeah, didn't finish as many as I would like. I mean, I think, just seeing the stats, 6 big chances against 0 big chances. That sums the game up. And I know Columbus, how they play, and they're a very good footballing team, one of the best in the league. So you have to give them the respect, but don't fear them. And the lads didn't fear them today. And I thought we started the game off particularly well. We were unfortunate. It was against the run of play when they scored. But it was a well-worked goal. There's things we could do better from it, but the response from the players and the character they show was excellent.
Yeah, especially after some of the calls that did not go their way. Some seemed more egregious than others. They kept their composure at a time when, emotionally they could have lost a bit.
Yeah, I mean, and I've spoke about that emotional control. They can't control, decisions that go against them or don't go with them. I've requested that we take the VAR screen out of the ice box because it seems to have been in there for a long time. But credit to the players today, because it's really difficult playing against a team like that where you have to defend well, especially after going 120 minutes for some of the players on Wednesday. So really proud of them today with that performance and that result against a really good team.
Thank you.
No worries.
Zaha had his first 2 assists tonight for MLS and seemed to be communicating a lot more. Do you think it's a change in mentality?
I don't think it's a change in mentality. Should I come back from that? Or? Yeah, I don't think it's a change in mentality. Mentally, he's always been there. I think the way we played today helped him as well, because he started inside the game. He didn't have to track as far back because we allowed Jack to jump out to their wing back. And we found. I mean, we looked a threat every time we got the ball and we turned they turned the ball over. And it was good positioning, but no, I've not seen a shift in his mentality. That's for sure.
And then, how did you feel about the back line cutting off Columbus's angles and limiting their quality chances today?
Really, as I said, it's really hard work. But what was really pleasing was, our recovery runs against them, because of the way they play, were 3 to 5 yards when they were making forward runs and intricate passing. Their centre-backs were having to make 30, 40-yard runs to recover. So really pleased with how we worked and how we shifted as a team today and limited them to very few chances in the game.
Your attack with Zaha, Yale, and Patrick Ajiman tonight. I mean, this is probably the brightest we've seen all of them together. What did you make of that?
I thought they looked a real threat every time they got it. I thought they linked up really well. The third goal was really good link-up play as well. But some of the big chances have come from that. We spoke about how Columbus like to counter-press and commit bodies forward and leave 1v1. If you've got Patrick Ajiman 1v1, then you use it. And we used it every time. And he linked up really well. Wilf played some great forward passes. Pep Bielsa played some really good forward passes and scored a great goal as well. But I'm disappointed that wasn't 5 or 6, because it really should have been.
Your decision to start Vargas over a lot of them, what was you thinking?
I just felt Liel came on Wednesday and was a little bit loose on the ball. And I felt in this game that defensively down that side we'd have to be good, and I think Kerwin does a really good job of that. But I was also mindful that one of them was going to have to change at one stage, and Kerwin had just done 120 minutes. So he got the nod over Liel.
The importance of getting back to winning ways after
Yeah. As I've said many times, and I said this to the players before the game, that playing sport, you win or lose, and they've all gone through that, and it's how you respond to the losses. And our responses, apart from the 35 minutes against Chicago, have been really good. So the result's not a surprise to me. I think our performances have probably deserved more points than we've got in the last 5 games or 6 games. And we probably achieved more points than we probably should have in the first 9 games, where we overachieved. So, I never get, as I said, never get too high, never too low, and I think that's important. And the players have seen that, and I think that helps them as well. Cheers.
Yeah, you gave Jack Neely his MLS debut tonight. What have you seen from him in Open Cup and training to give him the nod, and how do you think he did tonight?
He was with us pre-season. He's trained with us, multiple amounts of times. He's grown and matured as a young lad. He knows how we play. He's played the majority of his games for Legacy as a centre back, but I think he's got a future as a right back as well. He's quick. He handles the ball well, and I had no qualms when Nick was struggling with cramp.
And how do you think? What can you say about the grit and mentality of your team to get a late winner and then hang on for about 20 more minutes, and just what can you say about that?
Yeah, I mean, for me it wasn't hanging on, because it should have been out of sight rather than hanging on. So, but great resilience. We came back from a goal down against a run of play. We came back again from them equalising as well. So, just really pleased with the character of them.
All right, Logan and then Nick.
The shape of the team looked really defined tonight. Was there a little bit of focus on back to the basics?
A little bit. I mean, we changed it without the ball slightly. We went 4-2-3-1 rather than 4-4-2. I think Nagby is one of the best sixes in the league in terms of keeping the ball moving, turning, playing the ball forward, and we wanted to nullify that. And Pep Biel's job was to get in and around him and stop him, and I thought he did that really well.
And then it looked like Brant Veronica and Ashley Westwood both sat a little deeper and a little wider at times. Was that part of the plan?
Yeah, that was
solving
part.
the problem?
Yeah, because they play one down the middle. They like to play the wing backs high, and the two tens come in the pocket. So we just felt by widening our two sixes, that would certainly help us. Good spot.
Thank you.
Team seemed to play with a lot more emotion tonight, outwardly. It seemed like they were trying to get the crowd more involved and things like that. Did you notice that? Was that something talked about?
No, but they're human. So you've lost 5 MLS games, and when that happens, you have to take the praise when you're top of the East, and you have to take the negative comments that probably come. I mean, most of my players under 35, so I'm sure they're on social media. They're not as lucky as me that they don't have to look at it. I think the emotion was there, that they want to prove to people that they haven't become a bad team overnight, and I think that emotion came out.
And how do you carry this into next week with 2 matches coming up too?
Well, fortunately, we're playing Red Bull, and they've played tonight as well, so we'll be on an even keel in terms of playing a team that hasn't had a week's rest. So, no, this result will give, and the performance especially, will give the players a lot of confidence going into the next 2 games, which are both away from home.
All right, last one, Colin.
Going back to that sequence where there's the no call on Patrick and then there's the equalizer, what, if anything, in terms of in-game adjustments did you make as a team so that ultimately you take the lead and then you hang?
Well, the first goal was from good movement from them. I'll always be able to find fault in any goal. I think everybody can, and we'll look at what we could have done better with it. I felt, I haven't seen it back yet, but I felt that Jack probably overcovered Privs and opened up that side of the pitch a little bit. And then the lads stood the ball up, and they overloaded the middle of the box for the first goal. The second goal, I haven't seen it back. I mean, it looks like their lad gets a touch, and if he does, it probably puts Cali off a little bit. I was frustrated because it came from a corner that should have been a goal kick. It led to a free kick where, Wilf is adjudged to have handballed it, and they score from that. So it was frustrating, but you won't see me criticising officials again.